be all about. Hey y'all, it's Dr. These things. Okay, it's Dr. Ali. Got all these things popping up in front of my face right now on the YouTube. But I wanted to let you guys know that we have to move through this stage where we navigate past the pain and we navigate past challenges, unexpected challenges. And the thing about it is that I have clients that come to me, and they come to me, of course, because they have, breaks or things that are not happening that they wanted to happen, and or they're just at a stage now where, of course, now everything is going to go off on my phone right now. Of course, I can't stop it. I'm gonna just have to let it ring. All right, so through the process, I made a promise that I would come in and start sharing some information on how do you navigate through the breaks? How do you navigate through unexpected challenges like this? Literally like this. One of the things that I help myself, especially with helping doing daily work and doing daily active or growth moves, is understanding that things don't always happen according to plan. Raising as a child, or as a child that was raised with the concept of, the White House and the white fence and the house and the education and the money and all the things that will happen should you do the things that you're supposed to do in life, right? So as a kid, I always wanted to be this perfect child, or I'm going to follow the rules, or I'm going to do what's expected of me all the time. And when challenges would show up, I would have breakdowns. Like, I would have literally breakdowns during this process. It was rough for me. But one thing my mom began to teach me when I was younger was to breathe, and that it was going to be okay. Like, it's as simple as that. Breathe, and that everything was going to be okay. She allowed me the chances to gain my composure, to take breaks, to align back with my true value of myself. So when we are disconnected from our true value of ourselves, when we are not at a stage where we can tap into who we are, then when these challenges show up, it's like, oh my God, what do I do? How can I even reconnect back to something that I'm not clear on? So every day when I get up now as an adult, I tap back into who I am, tap back into my values, into what makes me, Alisha, me, Dr. Ali, me show up as myself each day. I release the need for perfection. That was one of the biggest thing. As a child, I always wanted everything to be perfect, or I was taught if things were perfect, then I would continue to do the things I would have to do. When things were perfect, that things would just align. When things were perfect, then the rewards would come. But things aren't always perfect, right? Hence the reason the imperfect biz coach. And tapping back into the space, allowing myself, giving myself grace through those moments, are what helps me to navigate through those challenges, those unexpected things that happens during the day. Being on trying to do a live, and then these calls are coming in, and the breaks, right? That I didn't get on here and say, okay, I'm going to start this and this is what's going to happen. But through life, unexpected things will happen. What I tell myself, how I've navigated that, is to realign back to my true values, realign back into myself. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, Seneca. I appreciate you. And truly tapping into my inside and allowing myself to radiate outside, and radiate in spite of anything that's physical on the outside. It's like truly letting your inside shine. But a lot of times we're so disconnected from our inside, we're so disconnected from our soul, we're so disconnected from our inner being, on who we truly are, that when these challenges show up, we're only looking at the physical, and we're not realigning back ourselves into our true value. My personal growth, my growth, my personal mindset that I help myself to push through, and to navigate through unexpected challenges, has to do a lot with realigning back to my inner self, realigning back to my values, owning up when things are imperfect, right? Totally owning up when things are imperfect, and not letting that seem as if I'm a horrible person, right? Not really caring what the outside world says or thinks, but relying more on my inside inner being of who I am. So I really wanted to just take a few minutes and just ask you, what are some things that you do that helps you in your mindset, that helps you to navigate through challenges that are unexpected around you, and share it with others so that I can come in and I can see what you do. I don't profess to know all the things. What I do know is that allowing myself through the imperfections and allowing myself grace to not try to show up as, oh my gosh, I have to sit here and I got to do this with a background and I got to do this with perfect lighting and I got to do this, with all my notes down, and it has to be scripted. And as a speech language pathologist and audiologist, as a professional, we're so used to things having to be perfect. We're so used to things having to look a certain way. However, when I've noticed that I began to show up authentically as myself, when I allowed myself to my inner light, not my outer light, my inner light to shine, when I allowed myself imperfect, when I allowed myself to just be, and sometimes even when I do things through the mishaps and do things through the breakdowns and show people like, okay, instead of me hanging up or instead of me disappearing or running inside or pretending it's not happening, hey, this is what's happening now. And let me show you how I'm going to walk through this. Now, move this forward as an autism mom. How does this show up? I had to learn that I had to grow through the process of being an autism mom. Initially, and some of you guys have heard the story, initially when he was diagnosed, my son Zachary, it was one of the hardest experiences I ever had in my life because, pregnant and once again trying to have that perfect lifestyle or perfect child and being told that, okay, your child does things differently. He's going to be processing differently. And even though I'm a professional in the field and I help so many with it, it doesn't change the fact that, okay, now this is my child. So as usual, because we're brought up, how many of you, when we're raised, like we look for what's not working? We look for the imperfect. We look for the things that are not what they should be. And zoning in on that, we think they equate to bad, right? So he didn't speak at the same time as everyone spoke. He didn't want to hang out with everyone like everyone else want to hang out. Going to places were difficult because he was super overly stimulated very early. So it made it hard and frustrating for me because I'm like, okay, I'm one way, I'm social, I'm engaging, I'm quote unquote neurotypical. And now here I am with this diverse child who just want to do things his completely own way. And it doesn't matter what I do, this is just what he is. So part of that was me learning to accept the fact that it didn't mean that something's wrong with me. It didn't mean that something's wrong with him. I had to learn to accept him for who he was. Oh my gosh, biggest lesson ever. And in that process, I had to learn to accept me for who I am. Now that is the personal mindset. That's the personal growth. That's the space where it didn't count on anyone else. It was the professional development, the personal development I did. It was the time with my coaches. It was my own counseling and therapy. It was what I needed to do to heal through the process. Even writing my book, Amazing Gift, A Journey to Autism Acceptance, to me, that's how I processed it and dealt with it and shared it out loud through the breakdowns, like through the moments he's having challenges, through the moments when I'm like, oh my God, how do you even navigate this space? When even though you're a professional and you know things, but as a parent, you're feeling so inadequate at this moment because at times I didn't even know what to do. I'm like, I don't know what to do at this moment. And when I don't know what to do, it made me feel like I'm that person that usually knows what to do, especially as a professional. It made me feel so less than. So if I'm feeling less than, of course, now he's feeling less than because he's vibrating off of my energy. Remember, we spoke about your inner energy and how it shines out. And now he's vibrating off of me, feeling less than. Now he's feeling less than. And now, of course, when you're feeling less than, what does that do? Lead to more breakdowns, lead to more things, challenges that show up. So all I could tell you is continue working on yourself. Continue working on your being. Release the need for perfection. When things are happening that are totally unexpected, realign back to your inner self. See your true value. In my book, Amazing Gift, I share 10 strategies that I use to help me in learning how to accept autism or accept the process of being an autism mom. And it wasn't just for autism, it actually was for everything. It wasn't just for being a mom of a special needs child, it was for me. And then when I worked on me, I worked on him. And then when I worked on me and him, I worked on everyone else who were engaging and who were relating with me. Today now, as a business coach, as a professional, as someone who hosts retreats and do all the things in terms of professional and business development, um, it's just me showing up every day, and me showing up. And I'm trying to find so you can see the words imperfect. There we go, imperfect biz coach. My mama made this amazing shirt for us. But it was my way of embracing the fact that things do not have to be perfect. Now, when things are not perfect, how do we handle those moments? Those moments are the times that become super challenging to us, because we're busy comparing ourselves to other people. I don't know about you, but I spent a lifetime comparing myself to other people. And I think that's just the way society has us. Like, we didn't even realize we're comparing ourselves, except if you go back to thinking about classroom and school. We were taught to get certain grades. And then when we got certain grades, we're looking at, okay, well, now what did you get? Now, what did you get? You're busy looking at your friends or to see who next to you and what did they get, not realizing that this is now preparing you for this stage of comparison. Or your parents, right? My mom, she would, compare me to other people, or, well, so and so is doing this. And I don't think she did it intentionally. It's just what's being done in classrooms, right? It's what's being done in our lives. And when we're busy being compared to other kids or being compared to other people, which is what I try not to do with Zachary now, don't get me wrong, I've definitely lived the stages where I've done it many times, but it's active work. But when we're busy comparing, and then we see, okay, so they're doing this and I'm doing something different. And then when you're thinking that different means bad or different means horrible, or that, you're not doing as well as everyone else is doing, then you begin to become more concerned. And then that's when all the other stuff happens. So releasing those needs to stop comparing yourself to other people, releasing those needs to release all of the things that we learned as childhood and in our childhood, and thinking that that is the way that we should naturally do it. And I know I'm saying some things to people that they may already know, but sometimes we need to just confirm it with ourselves. So that's what this is, me actually taking some time out to confirm it out loud, and to help somebody, whoever needed to hear this today, that you're not alone, and that you too can continue doing that personal growth work on your mindset. And it's something that you got to do every day. It doesn't disappear. It shows back up, and it shows back up, and it shows back up. And every time it shows back up, you're constantly doing the work again on yourself. Now, the only choice I choose to do is I choose to do it out loud. I choose to do it with my tribe or my community. I choose to do it in our retreats, where we actually tap in and we do the self work and the healing work, that part, the healing work. And it's not just a one and done. Like I tell them a lot of times when I host retreats in Aruba, and some of them also, or some of my clients host their retreats in Aruba. It's not just the outside work, it's also the inside work. There goes this phone again. All right, so I don't know how it's not stopping when I take it off with my phone. It's just not. Anyway, all right, guys. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna pop off, and I'm actually gonna take this call. I hope you got the message. Click on any link below if you need to contact me or need some support. Just know I'm here. Let me go take that phone call. That's now gonna decide to stop, but I'm gonna return it anyway. Have a blessed day. I hope you got something out of this.